Tell you a story. You know, when I started my career, because the topic is the future is now, and I had a prepared speech, and as I was thinking about it, and as I got to Ogumka, I looked at this beautiful state, and I started thinking about my life, and I started thinking about my career. When I got out of university in '79, I had a University of Southern California, and he said, you know, we can do a deal. I said, what kind of deal is that? He said, one of the biggest acts in the world was a lady called Linda Ronstadt. He said we could do a concert with Linda Ronstadt. And I said, okay. So introduced me to 22, I can't remember. And he said we could do this deal. He said, I said, well, how much do you want? He said $50,000. $50,000 then was 25,000 naira. So I could borrow 25,000, I thought. And if I'd become successful, I would never have come back to Nigeria. Why won't you let me go to school abroad? He said, if you go to America, you'll be shot. You see, what happened was a friend of ours went to America, fell in love with this girl, broke her heart, and was leaving the airport. The lady came to the airport and shot his leg. Killed anybody. So he let me go. And so that was what happened. And as I look back and I said I wanted to come back home. Got back home, raised some money, and I began Silverbird. And one day, I was driving my broken down car on the streets of Los Angeles. And a young kid like I was, and I said, well, if I wanted to do the Jacksons in Nigeria, how do I go about it? And the guy said, well, the Jacksons were managed by the dad. His name is Joe Jackson. I said, so how do I reach Joe Jackson? He said, well, this is the number of Motown buildings. So I picked up the phone. There was no mobile phone. I had a big red telephone. I dialed. I got in touch with the Motown building. And I said, I want to speak to Joe Jackson. And he connected me to the operator, to the next operator. Soft voice. He says, Joe, how you doing? He said, who are you? I said, my name is Ben Bruce. He said, yes, what can I do for you? I said, well, I'm from Africa. I'd like to come talk to you about doing the Jacksons in Nigeria. And he said, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, come to the office. I mean, you can imagine the shock. I was talking to Michael's father. So I got in the car, got to him. I'll tell you this story for one reason. I was a kid, an African in America, and there I was in the presence of the most celebrated American. I gotta switch this off. And I could do it because I tried. I didn't say to myself, it was an impossibility. I picked up the phone and I got in contact with him. And we spoke over the years. I'd go to his office, he'd say to me, Ben, listen to the excited. I told him every song was fantastic. Obviously, that was not the case. Some of them didn't do very well. But, you know, a Nigerian in the presence of Joe. And so later on in life, when I should have been too critical on Joe Jackson. But the years went by and I became a promoter. And it was hard, but not impossible. Remember, I had a choice of being a promoter in Los Angeles over Nigeria. But at that age, as a kid, my consciousness had been developed. And I chose to be in Nigeria, and I chose to work in Nigeria, and I chose to develop in America than I did in Nigeria. I knew the entire entertainment structure in the United States of America as a very young person. It's like talking to Jesse Jackson when he ran for president in '84. He was fighting 10 years earlier to integrate the lunch counter. 10 years later, I began to understand that there's really no difference between an African American and a white American in their country versus the leadership of Nigeria and poor Nigerians. We're in trouble today. We're in trouble today because the people in leadership position become consumers of our resources. So what do they want? They want a beautiful watch to make a living. And so, you read Black history. And let me say this to you. I was in the room in 1984 with Dick Griffey, Jesse Jackson, when he changed the name of Americans from Black Americans, which shall no longer be called Black Americans. We're called blacks now. Prior to that, we were called colored. Then we were called Negroes, and we're called niggers. We will no longer be called black. He said, black. Where do black people come from? They come from Africa, so you call them African Americans. That is how the name began, and I was in the room and that decision was made. And I was happy to be a part of history. Another part of history I was a part of, after the war, I said to him, I was a kid, and I said to him, what are you going to do with the military industrial complex of Biafra? They made bombs, they made cars, they made trucks. He said, you know, we thought about it at the Supreme Military Council. And we will dismantle all of it. I said, why? He said, at the Supreme Military Council, logical advancement. And that is why Nigeria could have been as great as Japan. But because of that decision, out of fear. Now, the Second World War, the Americans took the German scientists to America. The Russians captured East because of Native Americans, because they took people from all over the world and created a great nation that landed on the moon, and they're going to Mars. But we in Nigeria, we destroyed the military industrial complex. You should not erase history. We are who we are. But here we are now. What I did on my own that I could was because I had a desire and a dream. It was my dream. Champion Muhammad Ali, to talk about black consciousness, he taught me about things I never thought about. When I decided to go into politics, I said, I keep saying to myself, they have a problem. Sometimes you feel you can't make it. People look at you and they laugh at you. You're nobody. You have a poor father and a poor mother. That is wrong. And you can't make it in life. Crying because they lost your kids. Because you feel you're nobody. You can't make it. And that is wrong. Everybody has a right to make it. Everybody has a right to be successful. Everybody has a right to be part of this. Right to stop you from going to school. They have no right to stop you from having medical facilities. They have no right to stop you from having the right education. And if they fall sick, let them get cured in Nigeria. And say that nobody did nothing. That is not right. So I urge you today, but I will never encourage you to take up arms. I will never encourage you to get violent. I will say to you today, and I've said to you all my life, non-violence, the same way, in other ways. The other day I was talking to a politician as I was flying in here, and he talked about the movement here. And I said, as difficult as it is across the country, federal government, but let me tell you what you have. You have, I'll tell you a story quickly. After the war ended in 1970, I was at St. Gregory's College, Lagos. And my leg. But that's because he didn't go to school for 3 years, so he broke my leg. That's okay, I understood. It's too big. But let me tell you this. In 1970, after the war, let me tell you how great you are after the war in 1970. The national competition for schoolboy soccer. Okay? 7 months later, Rangers, Eastern Nigeria, industry, opportunities. You said to yourself, we lost the war. We lost our money. I think you guys got £3 or £5. I can't remember how much the government gave. How much? You won. You started building Eastern Nigeria all over again. You become industrialist. From there you started manufacturing products. What you have, when they change at 60%. So you complain that you're not adequately represented at the federal level. You are right. But think about what you have. Which ethnic group comes first in WAEC exam? Abia State. And you complain. So maybe that you can't explain. If you look at Biafra, look at Japan after the Second World War, look at Germany after the Second World War, look at how great those nations are today. And look at how great you are today. Who are you comparing yourself with? Which ethnic group in the country? You are a special people. Very, very special. And special people create wealth. They create families. They love their wives. They give birth to beautiful children. And those children will replace you when we're all gone. So give yourselves a big round of applause for what you do. Different parts of the world, different events, all those speeches at Harvard University and MIT. I get called all the time to speak. But I'm more honored to speak in my country, what we have and what we should cherish. I understand the difficulties you face, but I understand the opportunities that you have. And everybody in this room, I believe, I chose to come back. I chose to make a living in my country. I chose to go into promotions. When the exchange rate set up a radio station, a TV station, when I set up a cinema, I went to the bank. And I said, I'd like to borrow some money to build the first cinema in Nigeria to 20 years. In Nigeria, people are watching VHS tapes. It would not work. He said to me, prove to me a cinema would work in Nigeria. And I was so pissed off, I said to him, prove to me it wouldn't work. So it took me 10 years, but I built it. And when I built it, today there's cinemas all across the country. There's cinemas all across the country because we made the move. But you must never give up, you must persevere. Because if you think about it hard enough, and you work on it hard enough, and you figure out a way to it, I'm going to quit. Then you're a quitter, then you're creating a problem for young men. The trouble I see your wandering eyes, I see the trouble time creating wealth for yourself. And you'll be amazed what you will achieve. A lot of you are going to have opportunities. And trust me, it's going to happen to you in your lifetime. Many things. But like Muhammad Ali said one time, everybody in life suffers a loss. He said, and I quote, "It is only when you're in the deepest valley do you know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain. You will have problems, but you may overcome it through political associates, you may through a bank, but whichever path you take, understand you take a path to be successful and to make a difference. It is a gift you have. Do not throw it away. Do not squander it. Make sure you use it, and make sure you use it for the betterment of the human race. As I leave you now, I want you to dream of a great nation and understand the difficulties you have. People say you're nothing, you're nobody, you can't make it. But I want you to dream. Dream of a great nation. Dream of yourself between you and success in life. Dream that you will make it. And remember, if I can make it, you can make it too. Thank you and God bless you.